2022 regular meeting of the Fairview Town Council. This time, Councilman Biggers will have our invocation.
Let's pray. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather together tonight. Please watch over us as we look over the town's business. Please help us to make good decisions that will benefit the great place that we love to live and raise our families. We ask you to be with each person here and those who are to be with us tonight. Please watch over us as we go away from here, and watch over those who are dealing with sickness and illness. Please be with them, help encourage them, and help them to get better. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I want him to sign that.
Then we'll go to agenda changes. I do have a couple of changes to the agenda. I'd like to add item J to the consent agenda. Approve Mayor Thomas to sign proposal forms, and then contract documents after all paperwork is approved by the state for the town hall grant and the park grant. And also I want to add number 5 to the regular business. Approve Mayor Thomas to negotiate cost sharing with the fire department on septic system and sign the agreement. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
I second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Do we have any public comments?
No.
There are no public comments. We'll move to the consent agenda. I did want to make a couple of comments about the consent agenda. Conflict of interest policy 2022. The grant for the town hall and the park, and the 2 webinars that Daryl and I have sat in on in the last couple of weeks, they've stated that the best practice is to have council members sign this. So I'd like to ask the council members to sign this policy after the meeting tonight. The Fairview cost principle policy, this is something that's required by the American Rescue Plan, the ARP document. That's something that we have to have in place, just to let everybody know what that is. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor? The motion carries. Move to items of business. Item number 1, discuss text change number TC 22-003 regarding Fairview land use ordinance section 32-2, voting of the Board of Adjustment.
Yes, sir. This change was called by our illustrious attorney. Oh,
Can you open the hearing?
I'm sorry. Well, I'm explaining it first.
Oh, okay.
I can
Okay.
explain it in the public hearing.
Okay, no, I'm just used to it going first. I apologize.
Okay.
Got me off track now.
I'm sorry.
All right. The following change is in our ordinance, section 32, number 2, stating the 4/5 vote is only required for a variance and a simple majority for all other quasi-judicial matters. This is a change that needs to be made. Train of thought. And we have advertised it and need to open the public hearing. We'll talk about it.
Okay. This time I'll open the public hearing on text change TC 22-003. Are there any public comments?
No one signed up.
There are no comments, so I'll close the public hearing at this point. Discussion on this text change?
Yeah, can you explain that exactly again?
Okay, this should have been done when we updated our ordinance last spring to include this 160D requirements. It was not caught. Our attorney caught it, and it should be changed. I don't have the original, what it was, but the change should read, the 4/5 vote is only required for a variance and a simple majority for all other quasi-judicial matters. In other words, when a case becomes before the Board of Adjustment, if it's a variance, it takes that order. If not, it does not. And our ordinance was not correct. So, should call it. We'll change it.
Any other discussion? Questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve to include the zoning statement.
The proposed zoning amendment under consideration is found to be reasonable and consistent with the recommendation of the town's adopted comprehensive plan, the town of Fairview land use plan revised November 11th, 2018, and the town of Fairview land use ordinance effective July 1st, 2005.
So you're making that.
You're making that a motion.
I am making a motion
To approve
Make
that
that-
statement.
to approve the text change.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Move to item number 2, appoint Board of Adjustment members in terms as follows.
We have been discussing appointing new members to the Board of Adjustment. Our Board of Adjustment was formed back in 2011. They don't meet very often. I want to change that to where they meet at least once a year and do some training. We don't have many cases, but we want to reappoint new members to the board as shown in your example sheet. They are Chrissy Black for a 3-year term, Doug Buchanan for a 3-year term, David Link for a 3-year term, Josh Presley for a 2-year term, Bill Ruffin for a 2-year term, Alex Cararosa for a 3-year term as an alternate, and also Jim Brewer as a 2-year term as an alternate. So these will replace the members you have now.
Just as a matter of comment, the planning board is probably the most familiar with the ordinance. So we thought it was good to have 3 members of the planning board on the Board of Adjustment, and also just trying to balance it out with other members in the community. So I'll open it up for any discussion.
So if the alternates, how do they fit into the mix? If somebody's not available that night, do the alternates fit in at that point in time?
That's right.
How's
They
it-
come to the meetings.
I understand that. How is an alternate selected if one member's out? How's the alternate process?
Designated first alternate.
Gotcha.
We haven't done that, but we can, or the group can.
Got it.
The group may also decide on its own rules and procedure. We've got a copy of one that we would recommend to them. But,
And then also
and they will also appoint a chairman.
Any other discussion?
So explain 2 versus 3 years again.
Standard terms.
Staggered. Right. Thanks.
Okay, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move that we appoint this list that has just been read, appoint this group of people as our new Board of Adjustment members.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 3, appoint Fred Rogers as an alternate member of the planning board to replace Josh Presley, who moved to a full member. Term to expire September 2022.
Yes. That's what we want to do.
And then,
Enough said. Everybody else?
Is that term is that term lined up with what Fred is?
Josh was, yes.
Those line up together, that's why it's so short.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Fred has attended quite a few of our council meetings and also is, he's been an active member of the, American Legion down the road as well. Comes out and recommended.
We do give a pick or try to get our alternates to become recommended when available, so this is an important decision.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
I make a motion to appoint Fred Rogers as an alternate member of the planning board to replace Josh Presley's position. Full member.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 4, discuss the event planning coordinator position, Lisa Thomas.
Thank you for allowing me to speak to you for just a minute. I just want to remind members of our community that this is our 5th year that we're going into 2022 as far as having an event committee and having events in the town of Fairview. And we started out with our mission of trying to highlight our small town atmosphere and bring our neighbors together and make it God-centered activities that we hold. And I think we said the first year that we started that this was going to become bigger than we are, and it certainly has. With the growth of the events comes needing more people to help. We are a 12-member team. Out of the 12 members, 9 of the 12 have full-time jobs outside of volunteering for this. We do currently, for the 2022 year, we have 5 members that are wanting to come off the committee, but fortunately, we have 3 wanting to come on. So we keep adding events. We've added a music night, which will put us for 2022, currently having 4 events that we're going to have. If the team feels like we can have more, we may, but it will certainly be on a small scale. What I'm coming to you tonight is to propose is that we consider hiring a part-time or contract person to handle these, mostly the secretarial and the organizational skills that are involved with putting on these events. For the past 4 years, we've had 3 contact people basically to carry on these events. Teresa, myself, and Spencer have basically been the contact people. And Teresa has just been inundated with more work put on her, which doesn't allow her enough time to do town duties plus additional event business as well. So, and we feel like with the amount that we have grown, it needs to be a little more streamlined. It would be less confusing for participants and a whole lot less work for the people that are volunteering their time. Teresa was kind enough to give you a list of duties that have been volunteer up until this point. And I just feel like, again, it's kind of outgrown the amount of time that people that are working full-time can put into it. I don't have anything else to add unless you have questions for me, and I'll try to answer them.
Do you have any idea, Lisa, how many hours doing these things would be involved?
We talked about that. Of course, it seems like because we have an event in April, in June, in October, and December, it doesn't sound like that's very much. But I can tell you that from end of May until January, we were swamped. just because, it looks so simple when you go out and visit the park the day of an event, but nobody has any idea the amount of hours that was put into contacting all those individual people that were there. The amount of emails that have been sent out, phone calls, just beating the road, trying to solicit people to come out and be a part. So I would say, on an average, 12 to 15 hours a week. And that's an average, and there would be times, the slowest time that we did not have as much to do was from February to March. And those are basically the only months that we felt like we could really breathe. January, you would think would not be a busy month, but it has become letting people in the community know, these are the events we have planned for the year. This is how you can help and you can be a part. A lot of phone calls and a lot of emails are going out and letters during the month of January. So that's a ballpark figure, Mayor Thomas, so I'm probably lowballing that too.
You know, anybody interested in the role? Anybody from the committee?
We have definitely people on the committee that are very, very well equipped to do the job. But the issue is, like I said, it's most of them are working full-time jobs. The one thing that was considered is if we had two members that wanted to split the position, that is something that could be a possibility. The only thing that we really talked at great lengths about at our last meeting is that the members of this committee have spent so much time building relationships with the businesses and the churches, and we would love for it to be somebody within our community that has that passion and is willing to possibly stay in this position for a few years. We would certainly hope to continue those relationships. And it is harder to find somebody to do that if they don't live inside the Fairview community. Not that that's a requirement, but it certainly does help because it's a lot of work. And if you look at what we're asking an individual to do, you certainly are going to have a passion for it.
Melanie, you work with a couple of other towns. How do other towns handle this? Do they have somebody full-time on their staff to do things like this?
Stebbins has a Parks and Rec department, and they have 2 full-time employees, at least 2. And, and then a committee that helps out. I'm not sure. I'm assuming they have one of their employees there, but I'm just not sure.
Well, in my opinion, I kind of look at it as a positive thing that we have this much events and the support, the turnout for the events, that we've gotten to a point where we need somebody. I think that's a good thing. I think we all kind of knew this day was coming, that we were going to have to do something different versus wearing out Lisa and her team. So I'm in favor of trying to figure out getting somebody into this position to help out. It's just a question of how do we go about it.
That's my question. How's the best way to figure this out?
Would this be something we need to really hash around in our retreat when it comes up? So we can just roundhouse discussion of it, everybody throw out what they think, or
When's the Easter, what's that day of that?
April 9th,
April 9th.
10 or 12.
The retreat is March the 11th,
that'll be before our next meeting.
right after.
That's right, this is Fairview. next month, everything on the same day.
I think we could talk about it in a retreat. I think short term, you're looking for somebody or something to, if you've got an event in April, I'm sure you're starting to plan for that now.
Yes, we certainly are. I mean, I don't want this committee to feel like this is, 911 an emergency, because we are working on the Easter event, and that is something that will go off without an individual here. And we do know that whoever comes on board to take on this position, we're going to work just as much this year, because that person is going to have our help in making sure that, we try to stay the same path that we are. So we know it's going to be a blessing to get somebody this year. But we certainly know that we don't expect that our workload is going to diminish a whole lot this year. If we could, our main thing is the secretarial part. That is what we desperately need.
I think it would be really good if somebody could come on board as the paid person who has already experienced working with some of these events. That might not be, that person might not be out there. That would be a plus, I would think.
You're not planning on retiring from teaching anytime soon, are you?
Depends on the day you ask me. Today, I'm not good.
I was just thinking about
Honestly, the only issue I have with it being a person that's already on the committee is you're taking one of my workforces. And that is basically what it is. We need, and if a person, I certainly think a person on the committee that is very capable and they volunteered and given their time, I absolutely think they should get first consideration. But we need help either way. I mean, we'll gladly take more members. But we're more than willing to do whatever we need.
I don't think if we got anybody, even if we got someone right now, they couldn't really get prepared for Easter.
Right.
Because y'all know what you're gonna do now. If we hire somebody and they come in and change something around, and all of a sudden, it's just, hustle and bustle to get everything put together. And so far up to this point, every event that the town has had from day one, from the grand opening to now, has gone like clockwork with no problems. So I would just like to see us talk about this a little bit and everybody have a chance to look over these duties and all. And
Well, I would say that the event committee is still they're gonna plan everything. This person's just gonna help them carry it out and coordinate everything after the planning is done.
How about if we put the duties on the website and on the town Facebook page and just ask to see if we could get some interest in it? See if everyone's interested in performing these duties. And then we can go from there and see if we've got someone local who would be interested in doing.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I think we probably got to do a little quick research on what the pay would be and
Yeah.
things like that.
Because that's the first thing they're gonna ask when they call.
If we don't know.
Yeah, I know that's, yeah. But I agree with you. I think trying to do it locally and find something locally to do it, we can do that.
You could do like, a company like yours does, pay would be adequate for the qualified person or something like that. You could sort of get around that.
Natural skills.
Yeah.
Still gonna get that first question.
I know.
How many hours and what's the pay?
Well, my first question back to them, can you do the job?
Well, of course.
Why don't we start with
Try that.
putting it on the town Facebook page, the town website, and see what kind of interest we get, and then we can hash it out further in our planning workshop in March. So,
What you could do is take the top of her list
Mhm.
and that'd be a job posting and for event planning and
Right.
coordinating. And that would be the duties that you posted. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you probably could go with Lisa's recommended hours, maybe just say 15, approximately 15 hours a week.
Right.
Would that not be maybe more than 15 some weeks?
Yeah,
Less
Yeah.
than 15?
well,
You
you
can
know,
put
some
various-
months it might not be the 5 hours for the whole month, you know, off time, but when it's getting closer to 6 weeks before an event, 8 weeks before an event, there's gonna be.
Yeah, the worst.
I know y'all out there more than 15 hours before the festival. Y'all out there a lot more than 15 hours
Right.
a week.
You have to wordsmith it so
Right, Yeah.
hours change
right.
in an event.
how about Lisa and Teresa figure that out, put that on the town website, the town Facebook page, and see where it goes. Thank you for what you do, and your committee.
Got a good team.
And we'll move to item 5. The fire department the board of directors of the fire department met, and they have asked us to pay 50% of the cost to the design, installation, and maintenance on the septic system that we're planning to share with them. Considering what we have paid to them over the years, I thought that was a little bit high. So what I would ask is that you approve me to negotiate that cost sharing down for the fire department on the septic system, and see if we can't get that done at a lot less than 50%. I'm thinking 25% is a maximum. But anyway, I did want to try to negotiate that down and sign the agreement.
I'm fine with that. I think, yeah, we are going to be using that system just like they are, but probably at a lesser rate than they will be.
Exactly.
And we have contributed a lot to the fire department, so there's some balance here that you got, I think giving you the authority to negotiate is fine.
Yeah, I agree with the amount too, because we've got 2 days a week, 2 employees here. They've got 2 people every day of the week, plus they've got constant meetings, at least once a week or every other, on Thursdays. They've got a group meeting and other activities and things they do. I think as far as percentage of use, that'd be the maximum percentage of it.
Any other comments? Go up for motion.
I'll make a motion that Mayor Thomas works with the fire department to negotiate cost sharing in the septic system. Up to a maximum of 25%.
I have a motion, your second.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Now we'll move to council comments. John, do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Tricia?
I have with me tonight a check that I'm going to be giving to Daryl. This is in the amount of $2,132.20. This closed out my campaign funds, and it is my request that this goes for a park project that will be literacy based. I sort of explained it at last month's meeting, but it involves storyboards that adults can take small children and walk through the park and read as they go. The library would be a partner in this project because the library would switch out the stories probably monthly. And as a retired teacher, I'm pretty passionate about reading. And so I'm happy to have my campaign funds to go for this park project. And I'll be working with the park facility committee to try to get this going.
Jerry. Everything's going good over at the park. This one so far, I'll put out more ice melt this year than I have in the past 3, I think. Other than that, it's being used even in some of the cooler weather. It's being used, you can tell when this kid's been over during the day because all the shavings on the walkway, that's a big load off. That's how I know the age group that's used it that day. I've got to get with Mike about spring cleaning, and so we can get that set up, get it lined up. We've done one every year except one, and we've got we got some mulch last year, different style mulch. It wasn't pretty, but it was, some of it's still there, a good bit of it's still there. Where the previous mulch, it was just dissipating and washing away each year. And I have built if we go the same way this year, I have built a sprayer that's sitting at the house that built like we do for some of the golf courses, do spot spraying on the greens and things, and it will spray paint or dye. And we would have, if a dye had come in, we would have had it, we used it for Christmas, but it didn't get here, so I've been holding back off. I'll get ahead and try again on it. In about a month or so and see if we can get it in here. And that way we can keep our mulch piles looking pretty, and we just stay with black. I think the black mulch was beautiful up there, especially in the springtime when the grass starts coming out. So I've got some ideas what we'll do on that. And other than that, I really haven't got anything to say.
Calvin, do you
Do not.
have it?
No, thank
I've got a few things. On January 13th, the Chamber of Commerce had a meeting with the legislators and invited elected officials to that. There was a panel discussion with Dean Arp, Mark Brody, Todd Johnson, Paul Newton, and David Willis. A lot of discussion about the state budget. Also, discussion about the redistricting, which I guess has been thrown under the bus with the Supreme Court decision within the last week or so. But the state income tax is going to be reduced from 5.2% to 4.9%. I also had a chance to talk to 2 of our county commissioners about broadband, and one of the county commissioners stated to the legislators that they need to put broadband back under the State Utilities Commission to regulate it. It was taken out back several years ago. Broadband was a big topic of discussion. I was also able to talk individually with Dean Arp and Paul Newton, who are our House representative and also our senator. Redistricting, if it stays the way it is, we'll pick up Todd Johnson and lose Paul Newton. But since that's up in the air, I'm not sure how that's going to go. We're probably going to keep Dean Arp, which is really a good thing. Also, if the council wants to mark your calendars, March 24th is the elected officials reception. That'll be at South Piedmont Community College. Daryl and I have attended 2 webinars on state grants. Daryl will be our point person on those. He's sending in the information, things like the conflict of interest and that type of thing that have to be filed with the state. We do have the proposal ready to go in on the town hall. We'll still have to do the one on the park. I'll try to get that done by the end of the week. This thank you card to the band boosters here. Pass that around to the council. The boundary and annexation survey is something that we have to do each year for the census. Completed that in January. Basically, they want to know if Fairview has annexed any property, and we haven't, so it's fairly simple to do. That's basically all I've got. So I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Congratulations.
Meeting adjourned.
Let y'all stop by and sign.
Congratulations on your,
Yes, sign the conflict.
You know, you think,
I'm a little jealous, but
wow.
you know,
Yeah. What are my discounts at?
say what?
What are my discounts at? For my parents.
Uh,
I'm coming to you.
for me,
Don't need an apartment, build a house.
there ain't no discounts. You witness another man, he's gotta pay it.
Oh, I'm just saying.